Most men often believe that the best way to help in a situation is to immediately offer solutions, advice, or ways to fix the problem. While this intention comes from care, it is not always what creates emotional connection. In many emotional moments, especially in relationships, what truly matters is not the solution itself, but the feeling of being understood. When a woman shares something that is bothering her, she is often not only asking for a solution, but also expressing emotions that need space, attention, and validation. In such moments, the most powerful thing a man can do is to simply listen with full presence. Active listening means giving undivided attention without interrupting, judging, or rushing to respond. It is about making the other person feel that their words are important and their emotions are valid. When a man listens carefully, maintains eye contact, and shows genuine interest through small responses like nodding or soft acknowledgement, it sends a strong message. What you feel matters to me. This creates emotional safety, which is one of the strongest foundations of attraction and trust in any relationship. Many misunderstandings in relationships come from the habit of jumping too quickly into problem-solving mode. For example, when a woman talks about stress from work, family pressure, or emotional overwhelm, she may not want immediate advice like, just do this or you should avoid that. Instead, she often wants to feel that someone is with her in that emotional space, not trying to escape it or fix it instantly. When she feels heard without interruption, the emotional pressure inside her naturally reduces because sharing itself becomes a form of relief. Psychologically, humans connect deeply when they feel emotionally validated. Validation does not mean agreeing with everything. It simply means acknowledging feelings as real and understandable. Simple responses like, I understand that must have been hard, or that sounds really stressful for you, can have a stronger emotional impact than long explanations or solutions. This kind of response helps build trust because it shows emotional intelligence and patience. Another important aspect of listening is restraint. It requires controlling the urge to interrupt, compare, or bring personal experiences into the moment. While sharing experiences can sometimes be helpful, doing it too quickly shifts the focus away from the other person. True connection happens when the spotlight stays fully on the speaker. This level of attentiveness is rare, which is why it is so deeply appreciated. Over time, when a man consistently practices this kind of listening, the emotional bond becomes stronger. The woman begins to feel safe expressing herself openly without fear of being judged or dismissed. This safety creates emotional closeness, and emotional closeness naturally increases love and respect in the relationship. In many cases, it is not grand actions that build lasting attraction, but these quiet moments of being truly heard and understood. In the end, listening is not a passive act, it is one of the most powerful forms of emotional connection a person can offer. In many relationships, one of the most powerful yet often overlooked behaviors is giving genuine attention in small, everyday moments. While big gestures can be impressive, they are not what usually builds deep emotional attachment. Instead, it is the consistent awareness of little details that creates a lasting sense of care and emotional security. When a man notices small changes in mood, remembers tiny preferences, or pays attention to subtle expressions without being told, it sends a silent but very strong message. You matter to me even in the smallest things. This kind of attention does not require money, planning, or effort that stands out in a dramatic way. It is about presence. For example, noticing when someone seems quieter than usual and simply asking if everything is okay can have a deep emotional impact. Similarly, remembering how a person likes their tea, what topics make them smile, or what situations make them uncomfortable shows that their presence is not being taken for granted. These small observations create emotional warmth because they make a person feel seen in a world where most people are distracted. Psychologically, human beings are naturally drawn to those who make them feel noticed. Attention is a form of emotional nourishment. When someone consistently pays attention to small details, it builds a sense of importance and belonging. This is especially meaningful in romantic relationships, where emotional connection is built through repeated experiences of being valued, not just through words, but through actions that reflect awareness. Another important aspect of small attention is timing. Being present at the right moment, such as noticing when someone is stressed and choosing to stay a little longer, or sending a simple message to check in during a busy day, can have a stronger emotional effect than grand gestures done at random times. It shows emotional intelligence and sensitivity to the other person's state of mind, Over time, these small actions accumulate in memory. They become emotional evidence that the relationship is safe, caring, and stable. Women, like all human beings, naturally feel more connected to those who make their daily life feel lighter and more understood. It is not about perfection, but about consistency in noticing and responding with kindness. In reality, many people underestimate how powerful small attention can be. They focus on big actions while ignoring the quiet moments that actually build trust. But true emotional connection is formed in those quiet spaces where someone feels recognized without having to ask for it. That is what makes small attention one of the most attractive and deeply appreciated qualities in any relationship. Respect in communication is one of the strongest foundations of emotional connection, yet it is often underestimated. Many people assume attraction is built through appearance, confidence, or big gestures, but in reality, the way someone speaks during everyday conversations has a far deeper impact. When communication is respectful, calm, and considerate, it creates a feeling of emotional safety that naturally draws people closer. Women in particular often respond strongly to how they are spoken to, not just what is being said. Respectful communication means more than just avoiding insults. It is about tone, patience, and emotional awareness. Even during disagreements, the way words are delivered can either build connection or create distance. A calm and steady tone shows emotional control, while harsh or dismissive language can make the other person feel unimportant or misunderstood. When a man chooses patience instead of frustration, it sends a clear message that the relationship is more important than winning an argument. Another important element is listening without interruption. Cutting someone off mid-sentence or rushing to respond can make the other person feel unheard. Respectful communication allows space for expression even when opinions differ. It shows that both voices matter equally. This balance creates mutual respect, which is essential for long-term emotional stability in any relationship. Consistency is also a key factor. Respect cannot be something that appears only in good moments. It must remain steady during stress, disagreements, or misunderstandings. A person who speaks respectfully in all situations is seen as emotionally mature and trustworthy. On the other hand, someone who is respectful only sometimes creates uncertainty and emotional instability. Psychologically, humans are highly sensitive to tone and language. Even subtle changes in voice or word choice can affect how safe or valued someone feels. When communication is respectful, the brain associates the relationship with comfort rather than stress. Over time, this builds emotional trust, which is far more powerful than temporary attraction. It is also important to understand that respect does not mean agreeing with everything. It means disagreeing in a way that does not harm dignity. Saying things with kindness, even during conflict, preserves emotional connection. It allows both individuals to feel heard without feeling attacked. In the end, respectful communication is not just a social skill, it is an emotional bridge. It strengthens understanding, builds trust, and creates a deeper level of attraction that is based on stability rather than emotion alone. Emotional availability is one of the most important qualities in building a deep and meaningful connection, yet it is often the most overlooked. Many people focus on providing support, protection, or solutions, but forget that true intimacy grows when a person is willing to be emotionally present and open. When a man allows himself to express feelings honestly, without hiding behind silence or constant toughness, it creates a space where real connection can develop. This kind of openness is not about being weak, it is about being human and authentic in a relationship. Women often feel more connected when they sense emotional honesty rather than emotional distance. When a man only shares surface-level thoughts but never expresses what he truly feels, it can create an invisible gap. On the other hand, when he speaks about his fears, hopes, stress, or even confusion in a calm and controlled way, it builds trust. It shows that he is not afraid to be real, and that emotional closeness is safe for both sides. Emotional availability also means responding with presence during emotional moments. Instead of shutting down, changing the topic, or avoiding deeper conversations, it involves staying engaged even when things feel uncomfortable. This does not mean overreacting or becoming overly emotional, but rather staying grounded while still being open. That balance is what creates emotional maturity. Psychologically, human beings are wired to connect through shared emotions. When one person opens up and the other responds with understanding rather than judgment, The brain associates that interaction with safety and trust. Over time, this builds a strong emotional bond that is difficult to break. People naturally gravitate toward those who make them feel safe to be themselves. Another important part of emotional availability is consistency. It is not enough to be open once and then emotionally distant later. True emotional connection develops when openness becomes a natural part of communication. When a person knows that they can express themselves without being dismissed or ignored, they begin to trust more deeply and connect more fully. Many relationships struggle not because of lack of love, but because of emotional distance. When feelings are not shared, misunderstandings grow and connection weakens. Emotional availability bridges that gap by creating a flow of honest communication where both individuals feel understood. In the end, being emotionally available is about showing up fully, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. It is one of the strongest foundations for trust, intimacy, and long-lasting attraction in any relationship. Appreciation without expectation is one of the most powerful emotional behaviors in relationships. Yet it is often ignored because it appears simple on the surface. In reality, genuine appreciation can deeply affect how connected and valued someone feels. When a man expresses gratitude or admiration without expecting anything in return, it creates a natural sense of warmth and emotional comfort. It shows that his words are not transactional, but sincere. Many relationships lose emotional depth when appreciation becomes rare or conditional. When people only express gratitude after receiving something in return, or only praise when they want a favor, the emotional meaning behind their words becomes weaker. But when appreciation is given freely without hidden motives, it becomes a powerful sign of emotional maturity. It tells the other person that they are valued for who they are, not just for what they do. Simple expressions like noticing effort, acknowledging kindness, or valuing small actions can have a strong emotional effect. These moments may seem small, but they build a foundation of positivity over time. When someone consistently feels appreciated, they naturally become more open, more relaxed, and more emotionally connected in the relationship. It reduces emotional tension and replaces it with trust and comfort. Psychologically, appreciation activates a sense of emotional reward in the brain. People feel seen, respected, and validated when their efforts are recognized. This is especially important in close relationships where emotional reassurance plays a key role in maintaining stability. When appreciation is absent, people may begin to feel unnoticed or taken for granted, even if love is present. Another important aspect is sincerity. Appreciation must come from genuine observation, not exaggeration or routine habits. When words are real and specific, they carry emotional weight. For example, noticing a small effort and acknowledging it directly feels more meaningful than general compliments. This level of attentiveness strengthens emotional connection because it shows awareness and presence. Appreciation without expectation also removes pressure from the relationship. It allows both individuals to feel free rather than obligated. When a person feels that they are appreciated regardless of outcomes, they naturally develop stronger emotional trust and attachment. Over time, this habit creates a positive emotional environment where both individuals feel valued and respected. It strengthens communication, reduces misunderstandings, and builds long-term emotional stability. In the end, appreciation without expectation is not just about saying kind words, it is about creating a mindset of gratitude that quietly strengthens every part of a relationship. Reliability and follow-through are among the most powerful traits in building attraction, trust, and long-term emotional security. While words can create temporary comfort, it is actions that determine whether a relationship feels stable or uncertain. When a man consistently does what he says he will do, it creates a deep sense of trust that goes beyond emotions or momentary feelings. This reliability becomes a silent form of reassurance that makes the other person feel safe in the relationship. Many relationships struggle not because of a lack of feelings, but because of inconsistency. When promises are made but not kept, even small ones, it slowly weakens trust. Over time, repeated inconsistency creates doubt, and doubt creates emotional distance. On the other hand, when a person follows through on their commitments, even in small matters, it builds confidence in their character. It shows that their words carry weight and their intentions are dependable. Reliability is not only about big promises or major life decisions. In fact, it is the small, everyday commitments that matter most. Showing up on time, remembering what was said, Completing small tasks, or simply being present when needed all contribute to emotional stability. These actions may seem ordinary, but together they form a strong foundation of trust. Psychologically, humans naturally feel more secure around predictable and consistent behavior. When someone is reliable, the brain no longer has to question their intentions or actions. This reduces emotional stress and allows deeper connection to form. In relationships, this sense of predictability is often interpreted as emotional safety, which is a key factor in attraction and long-term bonding. Follow-through also reflects self-discipline and respect for the other person. It shows that their time, feelings, and expectations are valued. When a man consistently keeps his word, it sends a message that he is grounded and responsible, which naturally increases respect and admiration. These qualities are often more attractive than temporary charm or excitement. Another important aspect is accountability. Everyone makes mistakes or faces situations where plans change, but reliability is also shown in how a person handles those moments. Communicating honestly, taking responsibility, and making effort to correct actions strengthens trust even further. It shows maturity and emotional strength rather than avoidance. Over time, reliability creates emotional security that allows love to grow without fear or uncertainty. It builds a foundation where both individuals can depend on each other without constant doubt or confusion. In the end, follow-through is not just about keeping promises, it is about building a character that others can trust deeply, and that trust becomes the strongest form of emotional connection.